Our guest today is John Shenk. John and Kay moved into Epworth a couple of years ago. John joined the choir, and they, of course, inducted him into the quartet because he has such a good voice. He also plays several instruments, and there was a period in his life when he thought he might even make music a career. But he took a little detour through aeronautical engineering and ended up in geology. But that was a really good move because now there's a mountain peak named after him. So John, just tell us, how do you get a mountain named after you? Where is this mountain?
Shenk Peak is located in the Transantarctic Mountains in the continent of Antarctic, South Pole, everybody knows it as such. And it was one of the things that, as a member of the Texas Tech expedition, that we got to do was we got to name a second order geographic feature after ourselves, or our family actually.
Oh, wow. Well, where were you born?
Born in Erie, Pennsylvania, grew up there, went to high school, graduated from Fairview High School, Pennsylvania, not Oklahoma, and then left there shortly after that and to attend college at various locations around the U.S. Finally, I graduated from New Mexico Tech with a degree in geology, and then went on to graduate school at Texas Tech, where I was part of the 1964-65 Antarctic expedition.
Wow. Well, what is your musical background?
Well, at one time, in high school I played all kinds of instruments, and when I graduated from high school, my goal was to become a big band jazz leader and organizer. But I soon discovered when I went to Antioch, the first college I went to, that you needed a lot of talent to succeed in the musical field. So I learned what I could and went on to geology.
Well, what about the aeronautical engineering?
Well, at an early age in my life, I guess I was 12 years old when I started flying. My uncle had a plane, and I badgered some people at the Erie airport to take me on scenic rides where they would give me instructions. So I learned to fly at the age of 12 and just loved airplanes. And so when I went to college, I started out in aeronautical engineering.
What made you change?
Music.
Oh, okay. Well, what got you interested in geology?
Well, I took a course when I was at Antioch, a kind of an introductory course to geology, and I thought, this is pretty nice. And I grew up on Lake Erie, and so I have quite an impressive rock collection from the lake. And so it seemed like a natural occupation.
So then you ended up in the oil business, of course.
Yes, that was not my intent, but after being introduced to the politics in graduate school of the who became a professor and how you did it, I thought, I really need to stop and earn some money. So I got a job with Monsanto, and that started my career.
So where all did you go in that?
Well, let's see. I worked in Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, all over the state of Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and one stint overseas in Aberdeen, Scotland.
Then you retired 2 or 3 times?
3 times, yeah. That's what happens when you fired, resign, you become a consultant, which means you're unemployed. So yes, I retired from Monsanto, I retired from Phillips, and I retired from later, the last time, Anadarko Minerals.
Well, tell us about your family.
We have a son and a daughter. Our daughter Lisa lives in Austin, Texas. She remains single. We have a son who's Gavin, who is married. Christy is our daughter-in-law, and they have 3 kids. And Kelsey, the oldest, is married and is a teacher in the Oklahoma City Public Schools. And Kelsey and her husband Blake have a son, our great-grandson,
Wow.
who is now over 2 years old. So that tells you how old I am.
Oh, no. So do you have any hobbies that you like?
I have a lot of hobbies.
Okay.
Reading is one that I pursue diligently. I ride a tricycle, 3-wheeled bicycle. Still do, rode yesterday, as a matter of fact. And flying used to be my main hobby, but it got a little expensive. So I've been kind of retired from flying.
Well, why Epworth?
When Kay and I were going to Wesley Methodist, we sang in the choir, and one of the people I sang in the choir was Elliot Fenton. And of course, Elliot was instrumental in starting Epworth. So I kind of knew about Epworth from the beginning. And then we have several friends who ended up here. Martha Ellen White, for one, at Chapel Hill Methodist. Why, one of our good friends is a board director here at Epworth. So we had a natural tendency. So when we decided to leave our home and come to a care facility, we looked at several, but we'd always tended towards Epworth, and that's where we ended up.
Super. Well, thank you, John. We really enjoyed it. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Wow, John, that was interesting. We really appreciate your candor, and it was a great interview. Thanks.